Now, Four Pines is a family-run brewery started after a dad and his son couldn't find a decent beer. Well, since that spontaneous beginning, the business has grown into one of Australia's top craft breweries. We dropped by to hear how founder Jaron Mitchell manages the quickly growing business.
So Jaron, you run one of Australia's most successful craft breweries. Tell us about how you got started.
I was having a pie with my old man just only about 5 k's from the brewery here. And he simply turned around to me and said, all right, we've had the pie, we've had the surf, let's go get a good beer. I said, oh, Dad, it's Sydney, you don't get good beer. This is 8 years ago, of course. Not good, genuine beer that, explored flavours and hops and, various malts and different styles. In fact, the heart of Four Pines, or the brand essence, is we love beer, and that's where it all came from.
From that small start, you have 60 staff, 2 breweries, restaurant and a bar. How have you managed that growth?
A lot of hard work, but also a tremendous support base of, we are a family business, and we started as a family business, and there's myself, my wife, my parents, and my brother, but also just some really fantastic, excellent, committed Four Pines ambassadors, or the guys that work day to day behind the scenes.
How important has external advisory and consultation been?
The beautiful thing about a brewery, and particularly a locally independently owned Australian craft brewery, you do have this really genuine sense of community engagement, and the community really want to get behind you and see you succeed.
What do you do to encourage and leverage that consumer advocacy?
I mean, obviously we've been extremely lucky having a venue to begin with. Every single thing about it is Four Pines. Where the beer is brewed is seen on site. That was a fantastic core for us to grow our, consumer loyalty. We were probably operating that venue for about 2.5 years before we even began to sell beer wholesale around the country.
Right.
So as a consequence, the brand was already known. People had a very positive affiliation and association with the brand.
How long did it take before you hit profitability?
It is a very capital-intensive business as well. So whilst we're saying, oh, we're just getting into the black now, a whole bunch of that will be sucked into, funding expansion, and we're just beginning to kind of cross that line now, where as opposed to treading water, 6 years in, we're beginning to see some black.
Looking at the sort of competitive environment, there's about 180 established craft beer brands in Australia now. How do you maintain your patch in that?
To give you an idea, those 180 breweries at the moment have about 1% of beer in Australia. That compares to, say, about 8% in the US as a comparison of total market. Now, if those 180 breweries were fighting over the 1%, well, we'd all go belly up, because there's not enough beer to slosh around those 180 breweries. The aim of our game is to kind of, ultimately have a bigger slice of the pie. And where we get that slice of the pie from is from the monster duopoly that currently exists in beer in Australia at the moment. So I've seemed to find that guys that look at the craft brewing industry as a bit more of a collegian kind of an approach. People are only too happy to open their doors to us and have us come in and share ideas and knowledge. And vice versa. I think that kind of collegian approach is actually seeing, that 1% grow by 20, 30, 40% per year. So ultimately what that means is there's just more litres of beer to go around for everybody, and that rate of growth at the moment seems to be a lot greater than the number of breweries popping up, even though it seems like there's a lot.
It's a terrific business. We look forward to seeing it in a few more taps around town. Thanks, Jaron.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Cheers.
Look, it's a great example of how sometimes trusting your gut is the best business sense you have, but also still making sure the numbers work and putting clear roles and processes in place when you do roll the dice. Now, to think it all started in the search for a decent beer, it's such a great success story.